Hi, I was given a Dremel Stylus. This is it here. It's battery operated, it's sitting on its charging station at the moment, and unfortunately it doesn't work. So what happens is when you turn it on, you hear that noise. If you turn it, it'll start to spin. The motor seems to be good, but there doesn't seem to be any ump. And if you unplug it from the station, it'll just stop immediately. So I'm guessing that the batteries need replacing, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken out the screws. There's one here, and one here, and then I'm just going to pull it apart. So here are the three screws that I took out. Also, you have to peel back the top label and the bottom label, and move this cap off the front. So you just move the cap off the front, and then you can take off the lid, and here you can see the battery. So I'm going to start dismantling this. Okay, so I've now got the battery out, as you can see here, and as you can probably see, it's been connected via this PCB board. So these are the two elements here on either side. They have little metal fins that are obviously soldered to the battery casing. So I'm going to have to figure out something to fix that. But for now, what I'm going to try and do is unsolder these joints here so I can remove the battery. Hi. Just thought I'd give you an update. So I can find out what's wrong. This battery is actually all corroded, but I've managed to get a X-Acto knife underneath, and just to lift up these tabs that you can see, these ones here, and I managed to remove it from this one. I'm just going to remove it from the other side. So then I'm going to have to figure out that these are obviously spot welded in some way. I'm going to have to figure out how to weld them onto the new batteries, but that's a bit of good news. I thought I'd have to desolder it all and do all that kind of thing, but much easier than I thought. So I'm just going to take off this side as well, and I'll show you where I am. So as you can see, we're all done now. Managed to lever in with my X-Acto knife and just break the solder joints, and this gets removed totally. And then we have the battery here that I have to find and replace, so that's pretty good. Oh, just one more thing. Obviously, the bottom of the battery has a connector as well, so you're going to have to use an X-Acto knife to remove that as well. So just for your information. Okay, so here we are. The battery's been taken apart, removed. You can see the coating on the battery. I'm just going to try and look that up to see if I can get an appropriate size for these. Hi, so I've now got the new batteries. So the 11865s, which is a pretty standard battery, lithium battery. So these are the old ones. These are the new ones. I bought them on eBay. I think they were about $10 for two. Came in this nice little package, and because I don't have a spot welder for batteries, I'm going to have to solder the tabs, top and bottom, on these batteries. So I'll show you how to do that. So as you can see, what I've done now is I've taped the batteries together, positive to negative, and I've actually sanded down the surfaces just to make a nice rough surface for the solder to join onto. Just use a bit of sandpaper, and also scratch it up with your X-Acto knife as well, so that it's got something for the solder to join onto. So as you can see, I've soldered the top, not the greatest solder, but soldered the tab back on the top, and then if you turn over you should be able to check it and it should be about it should be about 7 volts altogether. So if you test it with a probe, because they're about 3.5 volts, 3.6 volts I think, individually, so you could be getting about 7.2. Thanks. Okay, and before you solder on the bottom tab, I just wanted to make sure that you realise that there's one side needs to be positive and one side is negative. So this is the positive and this is the negative. And you can just check that with a voltmeter. So this is the positive side, this is the negative side. So when you do the bottom tab, you just need to be careful with the orientation. So just check that beforehand. Okay, so here we are all soldered up, got the tabs on, got everything connected up, back in, and now we're going to put the top cover on and just solder it all back up. Okay, so we've got her all back together, so everything's ready to go. So let's turn her on and see what happens. Okay, so I think that's a win. So just to make sure, I put her back on the stand. She's charging, which is good. And again, if you turn her on, everything's working great. So before you chuck something out,